So yes, lovely. I see it's 1 o'clock, so I will get started. So thank you all for joining me on another Janome HQ Instagram Live. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. And see, Tanya's here with us now. So lovely. Hello, Tanya, just in time. So yes, thank you very much for joining me as we do another Instagram Live with lots to show you. I'll flip this around here. Yay, yes. Lovely. Ooh, I don't want to make anyone dizzy. So yes, we're doing another Janome's awesome accessory countdown. I feel like we need a drum roller or something like that. I'm not going to bang on the table since the iPad stand is on the table. But our countdown continues, Janome's awesome accessory countdown. Now, as a review, 2 weeks ago, we started with number 1 was our ribbon sewing guide. And we put the ribbon through these guides here, and that allowed us to use all of our decorative stitches to make our own ribbon or embellished ribbon that we already purchased. So that is wonderful. Hello, everyone, for joining me. Thank you so much. I hope everyone's having a fabulous day. Number 2 was our free motion couching feet. Now, I love these. You use a variety of yarns or some very thin cords and stitch all around in a free motion style, whichever you wish. Number 3 was our Serger beading foot, and then we had 2 cording feet as well for the Serger, so we can really get the most from our Serger. It's not just for finishing the raw edges of garments anymore, that's for sure. So there are some wonderful embellishment techniques you can do using, again, a variety of yarns and cords. So be it, clothier. Hello, hello. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, from Saskatoon. Hello, Cheryl. And then number 4 was our quilt binder attachment. And that's such a fabulous tool. You know, a lot of people are so perplexed by it and scared by it. Many people tell me, oh, I have it. It's in my drawer. I haven't used it. So I hope then all of you will actually go back to on the main page of the Janome HQ Instagram page. Kind of in the middle of the page, partway down, is a little TV with antenna icon, and that is the IGTV. So now you can go back and review all these previous Janome awesome accessory countdown. You can review all of these previous lives there. Eventually they will be loaded onto our Janome HQ YouTube channel. I'm still waiting for some special permission, I hope, that I would like to do to edit our videos. So that's why the videos on the Janome HQ YouTube channel are taking a while to get there. But for now, you can go to the IGTV icon to review all these previous lives for the countdown. And then boom, today, again, drum roll please, for our Janome awesome accessory countdown, number 5 is the Serger gathering foot. Now, I absolutely love gathers. You will know if you tuned in for our Janome HQ A to Z with Janome, our first series of Instagram Lives. Those videos are all on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, so you can go back and review those. And a number of times I talked about gathering, and we actually have a gathering foot for the sewing machine, which is the V foot. And then there's some other ways that you can gather as well on your sewing machine. But then now, we can gather with our Serger. So it makes it faster and easier and very cute results, like Tanya's little drawings here of the cute little apron. So also, you can write me classes at janome-canada.com. I'm developing some online classes. They're going to be starting in around the fall, around September. So then you can write me classes at janome-canada.com to be put on the list. So then I can send you out the list of when I've got those classes ready to go with all the details, how to sign up and all of that. Our Janome Sewing and Learning Center is still closed to the public due to COVID, but again, we're just following government guidelines. And as soon as we get the go-ahead to start resuming classes there, again, you write me at the email and then you'll be on the notification list, so you're kept up to date of what's been going on. But then in the meanwhile, we have a new hashtag. So you can hashtag share the Janome love. And regardless of where you post all of your posts on social media, then you can just hashtag share the Janome love, and that way we can see what you're up to and all the fabulous projects you make with your Janome machines and all the pressure feet that I talked about in the A to Z with Janome series. You can then hashtag share the Janome love, and then we can see what you guys have been up to with all the fabulous Janome feet and accessories. Again, all the machines. Again, anything to share the Janome love. So that's wonderful. So lots to do online to help us all stay connected. So that's fabulous. So I'll just put these all back up here. And again, we're going to talk about gathering on your serger. Now, remember the old days? This still happens now. I wonder how long people have been doing this in patterns. You know how they always said, do 2 parallel lines of stitching, a long basting stitch within your seam allowance. And then you were going to take those cords and draw them up. And then you had to, you know, even out your gathers to make it all beautiful. And again, it works great. But then I was always so fearful of, oh, just about when you get to the end, then the thread breaks. And oh no, I got to start all over again. Or again, it just takes more time. It's a little more fiddly. Or then I was zigzagging over a cord, even like some dental floss, and then pulling on the dental floss to make some gathers. And again, that works okay too. But oh, it's so much easier if you can do it on your serger. And the results looking way better, way more professional. Now look at that. Look at how uniform those gathers are. Because this was done on the serger, there's no raw edges there. It's all neatly finished. I finished the edge actually while I was on the serger. Finished this edge with a narrow rolled hem. So how cute is that? So imagine that little ruffle on the end of your sleeve, or this could be around a skirt, or this could be at the arm's eye. This could be like your shoulder seam, and then this could be the ruffle around instead of sleeves. So how, oh, 3 basting lines. Oh, I couldn't even imagine. 2 was hard enough, but yes, 3. But now, no, forget all that basting. This is so much easier to do. So what a cute little ruffle that would be. Or again, because I love making Barbie clothes, I'm thinking these have to be Barbie skirts or something. And again, look how professional that is. Now you can use your 3-thread, as I did in this case, or you can use 4-thread. It really doesn't matter. You choose to do left or right needle. I usually use the left needle position, so it's a little bit wider of a seam allowance, a little bit more support there. But again, look how beautiful, professional that looks. And then we can use our serger attachment, our gathering attachment on the serger, and we can ruffle and put our straight piece of fabric down all at the same time. So we're not doing 2 steps. So again, how simple and easy is that? And again, look how beautiful that looks. Again, this I was using 4 threads, but you can just as easily do it with 3. So it's personal preference. And again, how beautiful that is. And I don't have to worry about, again, anything raveling. And again, with the attachment that I'm going to show you, that we can, again, put on this gather to our flat piece of fabric all at the same time. So what a cute skirt that would be, or again, ruffles around like an apron, or again, this could be around your sleeve for the summer. It's been so warm here lately. It's been wonderful. But again, maybe you want to make some sleeveless, you know, sundresses or something, and you could have that as a sleeve. So how cute is that? So let's just move this along. Now, I recently responded to a question on Facebook. You know, there's so many Janome user groups there. I really love trying to help out whenever I can. And a lady had asked me about thread. So I thought this would be a perfect time to say, now, for your serger, you can really use a variety of threads that you typically wouldn't use in your sewing machine. But your average serger thread, again, widely available, but it's really important with thread. Her question was about old thread. Does thread have a shelf life? And my answer was, yes, it does. And I hear from so many people, they say, oh, I've had my serger for, you know, 20 years and I haven't done anything with it. So if you have some serger thread from those days, way long time ago, just throw it away or use it for other purposes. Do yourself a favor, treat yourself to some new thread, particularly for your serger, especially if you haven't used it for a while. Good quality serger thread will really reward you in the end, your results will be so much better. You'll have way less stitching problems. It's just so much easier. So you can contact your Janome dealer, and perhaps they carry a Serger thread box that looks like this, that Janome came out with a couple of years ago to coincide with the AT2000D launch. Very conveniently, there's 4 cones of black, which are currently on my CPX cover hem machine, but there are 4 spools of black and 4 cones, actually, and then 4 cones of white and 4 cones of gray and 4 cones of a natural, like a tan, light beige. So again, the basics. So that's fabulous. Or, ooh, I love this, our Madeira Aero Lock. I've talked about that in some other Janome HQ lives, and I actually did a couple. Janome America has the Janome Sewing Machines Facebook Facebook group. So I did a couple of Facebook lives with them, and I talked about using a variety of threads on your serger. So you can go back to the Janome Sewing Machines page, Janome America's Facebook page, and scroll back in their videos. And I did 2 on the serger, I believe, 2 or 3 on the serger. But this is the Madeira Aero Lock thread, and why I love using this, not only conveniently, it's available from your Janome dealer, but serger thread typically is very linty in its construction. But what I love, I don't know if you can see that as close as you get, but what I love, this thread is really very low lint. It is polyester, so there's not a lot of lint typically with polyester thread, but then typically serger thread's very fuzzy, because then, you know, they sort of put all these little bits and bobs together. This, there's very little of that. It really is great quality. So again, the better the quality of thread, the less stitching problems you're going to have. So that's one reason why I really love to recommend this. Not to mention this whole pack of Madeira. Look at, ooh, all those neutrals. I say it's often like candy. Like, look at all that. And there's 4 of each of these neutral colors. So that really is kind of all that you need. So that is great. But yeah, so in response to that Facebook question, yes, you definitely don't want to have your thread hanging around for years. Also, the way that you store your thread, keep it away from light, preferably as well, and you don't want a room too dry either, especially now in the summer and we're all running our dehumidifiers. Be careful of the humidity in your room. You don't want it too dry, and especially with your cotton threads, that'll really take the moisture out of them. Which will make them more brittle, so you don't want that either. So yes, our serger gathering foot. Now it looks like our regular serger foot. This is the regular serger foot, and this is the G gathering foot. Again, I love how Janome feet are all lettered, so here is the G gathering foot. And they look very similar, but to me, I'd love to actually weigh these, because to me, the G gathering foot feels a little weightier than the regular foot. I could be totally off the mark on that, but to me it just feels a little weightier. And I think in a way, oh, that would make sense actually, because then having that little bit of extra pressure would help the gathers form. On the back side of the foot, it's got a little groove here off to the side, so again, your threads could come out here to the side, which is great. But it's got this little hump on the back. It's very low profile, but it does have this little hump on the back. And as the gathers are coming through, it just would get hung up just a little bit here, which would be good, because as the gatherings are coming through, the fabric's coming through to get all gathered up, and then it would just kind of slow it down a little bit before it goes off the foot. So that would help the gathers form. So I thought that was a very cool piece of engineering. But again, they look very similar, but you can always tell G for the gathering foot. Now this comes in a blister pack, again, from your dealer. And pretty much, now I'm demoing on the fabulous AT2000D serger, but pretty much this foot would fit, I think, pretty much all of our sergers. Again, always double check with your fabulous Janome dealer to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that would fit almost all of our sergers. So let me snap this in place. Now, and pretty much, I think all of our sergers would do, even, you know, entry level. It doesn't have to be the fancy top of the line like this. Any of our sergers would gather as well. Now, The secret to gathering, now, like most for your regular sewing machine as well, if you increase your stitch length, that will help your gather. So typically I'm serging at about a 2.5 or a 3. This is my stitch length dial here. It's integrated with the dual feed on the AT2000D, but perhaps your serger has two separate dials, one for the differential feed and one for the stitch length. But so here's my stitch length. So again, increasing our stitch length helps helps make gathers. And then this is the differential feed knob. So typically we're doing most serging at a 1. But if I really crank it up, it can go up to a 2. Then that will force feed more fabric in and create more gathers. Now, I believe all of our sergers have a differential feed, but let's say if you didn't, even if it was set at 1, you can increase your stitch length. In this case, I'll increase it to 4, but just by increasing your stitch length and tightening your needle tension, you will create some gathers. Now, I'm using my left needle here, but again, you can choose to use your right. But if I increase it, normally it's around 3 is our average setting, but I would like to increase the tension. So people ask me, do I go up higher or lower, which direction? So I always think of down, low. So if I want to loosen my tension, I want to go down with my dial. But if I want to increase my tension, I want to go up tight. So I'll just set it at about a 7. So again, very simple adjustments. So now I will take my little piece of fabric. I'll show you there. So here's my little scrap. And as always, cut yourself a bunch of fabrics to do some testing. I say this is the perfect thing to do with that fabric. You know, we all seem to have in our stash and you wonder, ooh, what was I thinking? Why do I have this? So now cut it all up and make yourself some little strips that you can practice gathering. So again, just by lengthening my stitch to a 4 and by increasing my needle tension, in this case to a 7, I can easily achieve, and again, using my G gathering foot, I'll try not to go too fast since the iPad stand is on the table and I don't want you all getting seasick. And then I'm going to try to find, I can't really quite see where that thread cutter is. There we go. So there, boom, look how beautiful that is, how quickly and how easy that is. Now, if again, this iPad stand wasn't on the table, I would fly and go as fast as I can. So how quick and easy that is. And when I do these things, I write myself little, again, samples, and I make myself a little reference book, and preferably put them in a red binder for Janome. But I write myself little notes. So, for example, my needle tension was set at 7. The length, in this case, it was a 5, or it could be a 4, or even, again, as a 3. Depending on how much gathers you want, you can vary your stitch length. And then, again, my differential feed was just set at a 1. And that's the result I got. So then you can play around with your stitch length. So again, this was at 4, and then it was still at the number 7 was my needle tension. But then I do have the ability to adjust my differential feed. So I turned it up from a 1, I turned it up to a 2 was the highest it can go. So look at how many more gathers I have here. So it definitely gathered up more. I can show you in contrast. So this was set at number 1 differential feed. This was set at number 2 differential feed. And I definitely got more gathers by adjusting that differential feed as well. Now, too, you do a whole bunch of samples. So this is a strip. This is just like a 22-inch wide or 22-inch long strip. I just cut them about maybe 2.5 inches wide. But I made myself, this is my control sample. So I cut this 22 inches. Then I adjusted the stitch length and the differential feed at the side of the machine. So then I could see when I used the various settings. In this sample, for example, it went from 22 inches it went down to 11 inches. And that was set at the number 2 differential feed. So it went down to about half. So when you're calculating, oh, how long should my strip be? What is the ratio of my ruffles? Again, do yourself some little test like this, so then you can see by using the stitch length at number 4, again with my needle tension at 7, and then with my 2 differential feed, then yes, that strip went down to about half. Versus when I did the stitch length at 4, and again the needle was set at 7, and then using a 1 differential feed, that 22-inch long strip only went down to 17 inches. So again, it did not gather up as much. And again, maybe that's the kind of look that you want. Maybe this, again, these gathers would be great for home deck, around, pillows, or around the ties of a curtain, or again, even curtains, or across the valance or any of that. So maybe you don't want as much gathering. So then you can play again with your length and the differential feed. So how simple is that? But then there's more. I always feel like the used car salesman, but wait, there's more. So again, I think pretty much all of our Sergers, and in fact even other Serger. Oh, excellent. Thank you so much, Anne. Love these learning sessions. All in capitals. Thank you. I love it. I love doing these sessions. So thank you for the feedback. It is great. There's always, again, so much information to share. So I'm more than happy to do whatever I can to help you get the most from your Janome machines and all your accessories. If your Serger has this little... Oh, maybe I'll pull back to see. If your Serger has this little screw at the front, which again, I believe all of our machines do, again, double check, just open your cover. If it's got this little screw there, you can use this, this very cool looking tool. It's so simple, but this is what I love about Janome. Like, they designed such fabulous products that it's like, it's so simple and yet it's so effective. This is the Serger attachment. Again, comes in a separate blister pack from your Janome dealer. And it's simply just with that little screw, I just slide it in. Whoops, and actually, whoops, I'll do that. Slide it in. And then, before I do, I will show you how cool is this. There's these little notches up here. You see those little notches. And once this is screwed into place, it coincides. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but check the cover of your loopers. You probably have some notches on it, particularly one will say 5/8 of an inch, because again, this is great if we're garment sewers and we want to trim off our seam allowances. We start at the 5/8 inch, and then again we trim them all off. So these little notches here line up with these notches here on your looper cover. So I thought that was, again, so cool. So depending on what your application is, and again, if this was like a regular garment that you purchased a pattern, commercial patterns are 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, or maybe if this is a home deck product, like a pillow, those seam allowances are usually like 1/2 of an inch. So then you, again, can line up these little guides, line up with those, so then you can get your correct seam allowance. So I'll just slide that down. And I will raise this foot, because then you can see this little guide swings over. There, swings over like that. So it's partially covering the feed dogs. So what this allows us to do is to take a strip and put it down against the feed dogs. And then this guide goes over it and goes under the foot. And then we put our another piece of fabric on top. And by having this guide in between, it's going to feed both of these fabrics in at a different rate. So it's so cool. So I like to just, drop that foot. So I like to get started, just walk by hand the flywheel. I'm just turning, or your balance wheel as it's called as well. I always call it a flywheel. You want to make sure you rotate it towards you, turn it towards you always, and the same true of your domestic sewing machine. But I just lock it in place. This strip is now anchored. So then I take my guide and I just can push it under my foot. And then I'm going to take my other strip. So the strip on the bottom closest to the feed dogs is the strip that's really going to be fed in at a higher rate. So that is the strip that's going to be all gathered. The strip that's going to remain straight and flat is the strip that you want on top. And again, to experiment, you'll do it once and then it'll click in your brain, oh, okay, that's how I do it. Now as well, I like to just raise the foot. We don't always have to raise the foot from the back using the lever. This is what this big spring here is for. At the front of the foot, a lady told me once in one of my seminars that got in the way, so she had her husband remove it. And I said, oh no, that is there for a purpose to keep the toe of your foot down. But it allows us to then, just by using our thumb, like we can just tip the foot up like that and then stick in this piece of fabric up to the needle to get started. So it helps us, especially too, if you've got really thick layers, then just using your thumb, just kind of pry it up like that and then feed in your fabric until it touches the needle, and then that'll anchor it, and then again, away you get started. So that will be good like that. And then again, I've got my stitch length at 4. I have my differential feed set at 1, but I am going to turn it up to really get some gathers going. It's really fun. And oops, see, it wasn't quite anchored under there. There we go. That'll be good. And then you just align this whatever along this guide that you want. Oh, sorry. Again, I've got to remember not to go too fast. It's just so fun. Oh my gosh. It's like it just appears before your eyes. I will pull back the covers and you can see, like, just at the side of the strip how those gathers are forming. And then again, by having that guide in between of the gathering attachment, it is what is feeding this top layer at a different rate, so it's not gathering up at all. And then again, I'll try to hit that thread cutter. I just can't see it. There we go. Okay, perfect. So then there, ta-da, the big reveal. Like, isn't that gorgeous? Again, not spending all that time pulling those threads and trying to make it even. It's already even. It's beautiful. Like, that is just so cool, like so good. So you can finish that off. Imagine what a cute little apron that would be, or again, this could be like a Barbie skirt or something. Like, so many applications for it. So it's just so simple. Now, I mentioned Janome America. So yes, if you go, I know a lot of you follow the Janome Sewing Machines page, the Janome America Facebook group. So perhaps on Friday, you tuned in to watch Regina's Serger presentation. If you did not, and they're always live now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern, they're doing their live presentations. And on Friday, Regina, who's head of Janome America Education, was doing a Serger presentation. So if you tuned in live, fabulous. If not, again, go back to their Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page and you can scroll back to review that video. She was demoing on the AT2000D Serger, and she mentioned a workbook for this fabulous machine, which is now available in Canada, I'm happy to say. I don't even have my copy yet, but Tanya let me know, our Parts and Notions coordinator, Tanya, let me know that yes, it's in our warehouse. So when I go back to the office on Wednesday, I'm going to be there, then yes, I can get my copy and I'll show you all. I'm so excited. So yes, it's in our warehouse right now, so you can contact your Janome dealer and say, hey, I want that AT2000D workbook. But again, I'll show you next week what it's all about when I actually get my copy of it. Can you use this to add a gathered set in a sleeve cap? Now, yes, Sandra, I think that would be a great idea. So if this is your sleeve, and then this would be like the face of your jacket, your dress, whatever. But yes, you could use your gathering foot and even your gathering attachment to kind of set in that sleeve. You would just experiment with your differential feed and your stitch length. But then, yes, you could even use these to help gather up just that sleeve cap. And it really wouldn't take much. You would probably only do, if you're typically serging at like a 2, you would probably just even go up to a 3 and just use the regular G foot. And again, tighten up your needle tension, and that'll just create some gathers in between those notches. So that would be a great application too. So again, how beautiful. It's so versatile. That's the fun thing about all of these feet and accessories and attachments. It's so good once you have them, and sure, as always, read the back of the blister pack and all the instructions, but it's wonderful to then play with them and do whatever you wish. It's so good. So yes, so today's Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown was the number 5, was the Serger Gathering Foot and Gathering Attachment to, again, help make you beautiful, even gathers quickly and easily, and it's so much fun on your serger, which is great. So, before you get blinded by that light, I'll turn that around. So thank you all for joining me today. It's wonderful to see you all again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and tune into Janome Canada tomorrow. I believe is Melissa doing Stitch Composer, and that is a software that comes with a number of our machines. So regardless of what machine she's going to demo on, I think she has the 9450 at home, but whatever machine she's demoing on, Stitch Composer comes with a lot of Janome machines, so you'll be able to benefit from that instruction. So that'll be tomorrow on Janome Canada's Instagram page. And then I will see you back here on Wednesday at Janome HQ for number 6 already. Which is the ruffler attachment. Now we're talking about gathers, so gathers on your serger. The ruffler attachment is for your sewing machine. Looks like this. Again, it inspires fear into people, but it is so cool. So I hope to see you Wednesday for the ruffler attachment. So have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, you're very welcome, Celine. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a... and one last thing too. We are almost at 500 followers from our Janome HQ Instagram page. So once we get to 500 followers, we're again about 14 short right now. So as soon as we get to 500 followers on Janome HQ, we're going to announce a special giveaway for all of you to thank you so much for all of your support. And it's a little sneak peek, a product that I've talked about a lot with the Janome HQ's lives, but again, when we'll announce all the details when we get to 500. Now, that's just for our North America, Canada, and US viewers. So our international viewers, I'm sorry, you won't be able to participate in the giveaway, but you can certainly participate in all sharing the Janome love. So yeah, Sandra, I'm very excited too. So that's wonderful. Thank you. So yes, thank you all for joining me, and I will give you a little more heads up on the giveaway and all that on Wednesdays as well. So thank you and enjoy your day. Bye.